A standard 1% advisor fee on a $500,000 portfolio costs you $5,000 every single year, and over 20 years that fee alone can consume roughly $89,000 that could have stayed in your account, according to Wealth Professional 2025 figures. That is not a fringe scenario. 1% AUM is the typical full-service charge in Canada. So the real question is not whether 1% sounds cheap, it is whether your advisor is actually doing $5,000 of work. And I read the fine print so you don't have to. Here's why the choice matters so much. The AUM fee automatically grows with your balance without any requirement that the advisor's time or complexity increase at the same rate. At $100,000, 1% is $1,000 a year. At $500,000, it is $5,000. At $1,000, it is $10,000 per Wealth Professional 2025. And that is before you count the mutual fund MERs of 1.5% to 2.5% many bank platforms charge on top, which can push an investor's real all-in cost to 2.5% or more. On $500,000, that stacked cost can be $2,500 to $1,750 a year, not the $5,000 most people think they pay. Here is the at-a-glance version. On one side, you have the traditional 1% AUM advisor, where the fee is a percentage of everything they hold and product costs are often bundled in. On the other side, you have a flat fee planner charging $1,500 to $7,500 for planning, paired with ETFs costing 0.25% to 0.40% per Wealth Professional 2025. The core difference is whether your cost is tied to your balance or tied to the actual work being done. Option A is the AUM advisor, the most common model in Canada. You pay a percentage of what they manage, commonly around 1%, with independent portfolio managers running 0.8% to 1.2%. And bank mutual fund platforms often charging 1.5% to 2.5% without full planning, according to Wealth Professional 2025. It suits someone who wants hands-off discretionary management and genuinely uses the broader service: tax structuring, retirement modeling, estate work, and active oversight. The catch is that many people pay this fee for little more than product selection and an annual review. The AUM model's strongest advantage is alignment and convenience. Because the advisor is paid on your balance, they in theory benefit when your portfolio grows and everything sits under one relationship. Wealth Professional 2025 notes that a 1% fee is genuinely worth it when it includes tax planning, retirement structure optimization, corporate integration, estate considerations, and active oversight, not just a fund recommendation. An all-in cost around 1.0% to 1.5% is typical and defensible when that full service is real. The problem is proving the service is actually there. The real catch has two parts. First, the visible 1% often hides layered costs: dealer fees, trading fees, and fund MERs of 1.5% to 2.5% on bank funds. So investors can quietly pay 2.0% to 3.0% or more per Wealth Professional and Canadian fee-only overviews. Second, advisory fees charged inside an RRSP, RRIF, or TFS are never tax-deductible under CRA rules referencing Income Tax Act 20.1 BB per Manulife. So you can be paying $10,000 to $15,000 a year with zero tax relief on your registered accounts. Option B splits the two things you are really buying: advice and products. A fee-only planner charges a flat $1,500 to $7,500 or more for full retirement and tax planning, and you hold low-cost ETFs at 0.25% to 0.40% per Wealth Professional 2025. A Canadian fee-only planner might charge around $4,500 a year for full retirement and tax planning on a similar portfolio. It suits investors with straightforward needs who don't want their cost quietly rising with every good year in the market. The trade-off is you may need to be more hands-on. Here is the strongest advantage, and I'm saving the most decisive number for the verdict. On a $500,000 portfolio, a commission-based mutual fund setup can cost $7,500 to $2,500 a year, while a fee-only advisor using low-cost ETFs might keep total advice and product costs at $2,500 to $7,500, a gap of $5,000 to $10,000 a year, per a Canadian fee-only overview. Over 10 years, that gap compounds to an estimated $1,750 to $60,500 in extra wealth. And because the planning fee is flat, it doesn't balloon just because your portfolio doubled. The flat fee model isn't free of downsides. Many fee-only planners don't take discretionary control. So implementing trades and rebalancing can land on you, and a lump sum planning invoice of several $1,000s can feel steeper than a fee quietly skimmed from your account. If your situation is genuinely complex, corporate accounts, estate planning, cross-border issues, you may pay for extra hours on top. The honesty of a transparent flat fee is the whole point, but transparency also means you see and own every dollar and every decision. Let's run the first 4 criteria. On advice fee, the AUM model is about 1% or $5,000 a year on $500,000, while flat fee planning runs at $500 to $7,500 per Wealth Professional 2025. Advantage B. On product cost, bank mutual funds carry MERs of 1.5% to 2.5% versus 0.25% to 0.40% for ETFs. B again. All in on $500,000, the status quo can hit $2,500 to $7,500 versus $2,500 to $7,500 for fee only plus ETFs. And critically, the AUM cost scales up automatically as you grow, while the flat fee doesn't. On pure cost, option B sweeps. Now criteria 5 through 7. On tax treatment, it's a tie. Under CRA rules referencing Income Tax Act 20/1 BB, fees on registered accounts like RRSPs and TFSAs are never deductible for either model, per Manulife. On full service depth, option A can edge ahead when you genuinely use discretionary management plus estate and corporate work. On transparency, option B wins decisively. A flat fee shows you every dollar, whereas CRM2 cost reports since 2013 to 2016 made AUM and MERs visible, but they still stack in layers. If this is useful, subscribe. The next breakdown is already coming. Tally it up. Across the 7 criteria, option B took 5 rounds. Every single cost measure plus transparency. Option A won 1, service depth, and only when you actually use the full planning it offers. Tax treatment was a tie because neither model saves you tax inside registered accounts. On paper, the flat fee and ETF approach dominates. Before I give the verdict, here's the single number that decides it for most people. A Canadian retiree paying 1% AUM on a $500,000 portfolio for 20 years sees a fee drag of roughly $89,000 versus a lower-cost flat fee planner using ETFs, per published examples. If that same investor cut their all-in cost from around 2.5% to 1.0% to 1.5%, the nominal fees avoided over 20 years could reach $100,000 to $200,000. For a portfolio this size, that gap is a 6-figure decision hiding behind a 2-word phrase, only 1%. So who wins? This is general information, not personal advice. Check the fee disclosure, the fund facts, and your own circumstances before you move a dollar. For a straightforward investor like a mid-career professional with $500,000 in an RRSP and a non-registered account, the flat fee planner plus low-cost ETFs is the better fit. It can save $5,000 to $10,000 a year and defend against that $89,000 drag, per the Canadian Fee-Only Overview and Wealth Professional 2025. But the 1% AUM advisor can be the better fit for someone with genuine complexity. A corporation, estate planning, cross-border assets, who actually uses the tax and structuring work. The rule is simple. A 1% fee is defensible only when it buys real ongoing planning, not just a mutual fund and an annual review. If all you're getting is product selection, your cost should look more like 0.25% to 0.40% or a transparent flat fee. Here's the clean decision guide. Choose the 1% AUM advisor if you have real complexity, a corporation, estate planning, or intricate tax needs, and you genuinely use discretionary management and comprehensive planning, keeping your all-in cost defensible at 1.0% to 1.5% per Wealth Professional 2025. Choose the flat fee planner plus ETFs if your portfolio is straightforward, if all you're currently getting from your 1% is product selection and an annual review, or if you simply don't want your fees rising automatically every time the market has a good year. Either way, start by auditing your total all-in cost, advisory fee plus every MER, from your CRM2 cost and compensation report. Before you switch anything, pull your annual cost and compensation report, add your advisory fee to every fund's MER, and multiply by your balance to see your true dollar cost. That one exercise reveals more than any sales pitch. Next, I'm breaking down exactly which investment fees the CRA will and won't let you deduct, the rules that decide whether your advice cost you even more. Subscribe so you don't miss it.